to begin with, and that is meerkats. Meerkats are not cats at all. They're closer related to weasels. They do live down in burrows. Now, meerkats usually run at the sight of a person. In fact, you can't get within hundreds of feet of a meerkat before they take off. But here in Botswana, they have a program of habituating meerkats, getting meerkats used to people. And several habituated meerkat groups, they're referred to as gangs or mobs. Several mobs have been habituated, and I visited those mobs. The way that Botswana gets the meerkats to be habituated to people is by having a person stand out there with them from early morning until night. Eventually, the meerkats become so used to people, they pay them no mind at all. People are nothing more different or threatening than a tree. At dawn, meerkats go through a regular ritual. First of all, they usually stand outside their burrow and warm up, but in these temperatures, that's not necessary. The next thing they do is they clean up their burrow by kicking out sand that they don't want in the burrow, and that's the smoke that you see coming up out of this particular burrow. What they do next is go to see if they can find some breakfast. As a matter of fact, they spend most of the day trying to find something that they can eat. Meerkats are carnivores, well, insectivorous mostly. They're looking primarily for scorpions, but they'll eat almost any small animal that they can find in the ground. The teeth of the meerkat are quite large. And as a matter of fact, for their body size, their teeth are actually larger than a lion's teeth. And every once in a while, you'll notice that the meerkat will stand up and look around on his hind legs. That's one of those iconic postures that the meerkat takes. We almost always see a mob of meerkats standing up on their hind legs facing the sun. That's to get warm. But when they're standing up otherwise, they're looking out for trouble.
There's another male that wants to join.
So,
That's
what
why.
kind of trouble
That's why
could
they
there
call
be
it
for a
the other
meerkat?
one.
Well, first of all, almost everything eats meerkats. Cobras, for example, will attack them, although, frankly, a nice big mob of meerkats can kill a cobra. Their biggest threat, really, is birds of prey. There are several kinds of eagle in this area, hawks and so forth, and any one of them could make a meal out of meerkat. This particular meerkat is making a meal out of small beetles. This particular meerkat mob has a problem. There are only 3 members in it, and that's very, very small for a meerkat mob. They like to have one meerkat at least on sentry duty all the time to protect them from various threats. However, in a mob this size, everybody has to forage all the time, and so sentry duty is a part time job, not a full time job, and that puts the mob at some risk. Another peculiarity is that only the male and female, that are the alpha pair, are allowed to have pups. The reason for that is because even a fair sized mob has difficulty taking care of just a few pups at a time. After all, they need to leave a babysitter behind at the burrow, and they have to post sentries, and it takes a fair number of meerkats to do all those jobs while everybody else is going out and getting breakfast. The result is that if a female other than the alpha female gets pregnant, the alpha female is very likely to drive her out of the mob, or in the alternative, when the pups are born, to kill the pups. That may seem harsh, but that's the way it has to be. Otherwise, the alpha female's pups would not get adequate care. Now, this little gang of three has a special problem. You see, both of the females that are in the group are pregnant, and there's only one male. And there's a strange male meerkat on the edge of the mob that's trying to join. So one of the females wanders over to him. Now, this could be a big fight, but when she gets over to the strange male, she pays him no mind. He is crouching down as though he were subservient, and in fact, all of the males are subservient to all of the females. But at this point, the male alpha discovers the intruder. The male runs after him in a shot, and if he catches up to him, there could be a really big fight. But when he catches up to them, they discover they're the best of friends. And finally, the third member of the mob, the second female, comes over, and they also make friends. And so now the mob of three becomes the gang of four. Well, we have a happy ending. The stranger will get his ticks removed, ones that he couldn't reach. There'll be mutual grooming, and the mob will be a little bit larger, a little bit easier to take care of itself. This next meerkat mob is a little bit bigger. It's got 9 adults and several children.
Yeah, they are living inside the cave. That barrel is Jamie.
Here, the alpha female has gone out foraging and she has found something extraordinary to eat. It appears to be a frog. Meerkats don't share food, except with their children, of course. Meerkats find their food by smell, and because they're going over the same ground often, they have to change their feeding areas from time to time. But they can't do that while the children are quite young. They can only do that after the children become mobile enough to be able to move with the mob. It happens that that's the situation today. The children are now old enough to be moved. And so Mama's going to make the decision to move to a new burrow so that they can exploit a new feeding ground. And we're going to follow them while they make the move. It's going to take place over about a mile distance. En route to the new location, the adults will forage, they will do sentry duty, and they will act as babysitters all along the route. By the time the mob gets near the new burrow site, the kids are really bushed, and occasionally the adults have to pick them up and carry them. Like the adults, the kids try their hand at standing up and doing sentry duty, but the adults aren't always helpful in that regard. Finally, at the new burrow, we have a hole in one, and then eventually the other one finds its way into the burrow as well.